Teresa Poor here with Seven Pillars Talk Show, and I made a special announcement a couple of weeks ago after our Unbreakable event that we were going to host a Styles Recipe podcast, and I'm so excited to introduce that to you. You know, part of creating an unbreakable life are the seven pillars, and one of the pillars, in fact, the number one, the beginning pillar that we walk into as we create an unbreakable life is identity and self-discovery. Well, one of the things that I found, in fact, I just had a chamber lunch earlier today, and there was like seven of us sitting at the table. And one of the questions that was asked at this event is about personal branding. Well, if we don't know who we are, it's almost impossible to brand ourselves as such, and even harder for us to dress the way that is congruent and works well with who we are internally and how we want to express that externally. Well, a few months ago, I met this really amazing gal that you're going to meet here in just a moment. Her name is Katarina, which I might have said that wrong, but she'll show us here in a minute. And she and I got to talking. And one of the things that she said to me is she said, you know, people make assumptions all day long about who you are and what you do simply based on the way you present yourself. Your clothes do the talking. So today I'm going to bring Kat on the screen and I'm going to let her tell us how our clothes do the talking. And if they're in fact not sharing the right message, our unique message, how we can make that congruent and how we can speak the same language externally that we do internally. So please welcome my friend Kat to the stage. Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me here. So yes,
Oh,
I would love to tell you everything about the style, all the style
yes, yes.
secrets.
We're so excited to have you. And I tell you what, when we finished up the Unbreakable conference, everybody was like, oh, I've got to learn more. I've got to learn more. And, you know, one of the things I think that we deal with when we're trying to identify who we are is we want to really identify, okay, how do we show up? Like I now have a really solid understanding of who I am as the human, who I am with my own unique gifts and talents and what I can contribute to the world. But how do I make my clothing match my personal brand and my personal attitude? And when you and I sat down for coffee at Starbucks, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, you really opened my eyes to what our clothing does for us or how it hinders us. And I would love for you just to kind of share that and what you've learned and how you've really used your experience in the last 20 plus years in interior design to help people create their own style.
So yes, the method I use is called the archetypes. I use it in both interior design and style. So what archetypes are like images, unconscious images, which we see, which we read from people, from objects, from everything. And people labeling each other all the time, they're judging too. So when we see anybody in any clothes, we immediately set up the label. Oh, this person must be a teacher. This must be an entrepreneur. This must be whatever. So you label it unconsciously all the time. And these labels are the archetype. There are basically 12 different archetypes which people fall into. And so what we did with you on our meeting in the cafe was we were detecting your archetypes.
Yeah.
So we're going to have this event in May, and then every person on this event will figure out his or her personal archetypes. And the thing is that we are not simple. We're not just one archetype, just one pure one. It's usually a combination of several ones.
Right.
And that makes us unique. So we can be vulnerable and strong at the same time. And we need to understand both of these sides and represent it through the clothes if we want to be labeled correctly, if we want to be understood correctly.
You know, I want to add on to that just a little bit. Not the science behind it, because that's all you, girl. But I was doing an interview, a Zoom meeting with somebody that I had never met before. She had heard about one of my events, and we scheduled a meeting. And just to talk, I think, to give some some power to what we're discussing right now. I got on this call with her and I was really kind of in my element and I was in my zone. I had just finished, it was a Monday, I believe, and I had just gone to the gym and met with my trainer. And then I came back and got on a meeting and grabbed some lunch. And then I'm like, oh, I've got this Zoom meeting I need to get on. So I get on this Zoom meeting. And immediately as I got on this Zoom call, I saw her face and I saw the way she was put together. And I could feel like, oh dear, I did not prepare like properly in the way I brought myself to the meeting. And that I think, and people are like, well, I don't understand why this matters. Well, it does matter because, like you said, people make judgment calls about how we present ourselves and whether or not the story that we're saying about who we are and what we want to do, if that's actually, congruent with our life, if we show up authentically that way or not. And fortunately for me, I was redeemed. I got to meet with this girl in person and I was like, hey, we had a Zoom the other day. And she looked at me like, no, we didn't. That was a total different person. But when we show up and we look and feel in such a way that is authentic to us, to our style, to who we are, I think it really just makes everything smoother and it takes a lot of the guesswork away and we can be our authentic selves that work really well with somebody else's authentic self, right?
That's right. So we can show an example how it works.
Yes. Oh, I would love for you to do that. And yeah, please do. Besides you're like a walking example of it. But yes, let's talk about that. What does that look like?
So I'm going to share the slides. I'm going to share the screen.
Do you want to say, oh, here we go. We got you.
Yes.
As you're sharing and as people are watching, I do want to say too that they're welcome to leave comments or questions. And that way Kat has a chance live to go in and answer any of those. But yes, please continue.
Yes, so the first thing we need to figure out the archetypes. Already did that work with you. I will show it a little bit later how it works. And now I need to ask you some extra questions about your personal style. What are your goals? So besides the archetypes, which we're going to show soon. So what is your request for the stylist? I can give you examples like what it can be. Like, do you need a style for career or for job? Do you need style for romance or relationship? Maybe style for vacation, maybe some special event or something. So what is your
Well, for me, I have a pretty hectic life. I'm always jumping typically from one meeting to the other. Now, I do like showing up in a very polished, as much elegant way as possible, but that's not always conducive for the work that I do because sometimes I have to be, I'm always in heels because let's face it, 4'10" requires that of me. But I do always want to show up polished and ready. But at the same time, I need to be flexible because I homeschool, I go to meetings, I also help run my husband's business. So there's got to be some fluidity and movement in my clothing as well.
So when you show up on the meetings, what's the most important for you? So what do you want to tell people who you are? Like, describe yourself.
Sure. Oh, okay. This is fun. Well, you know what? I want people to know when they sit down with me that I'm warm and caring, but also have the ability with confidence to help them. I want them to see that whatever they share with me is always going to be under discretion, but that they, at the same time, can get vulnerable and transparent. So I don't want to look too stuffy. I don't want it to feel like they're going into maybe a professional's office where they have to act or be a certain way. So I want comfort. And I think that's probably the best way in that type of meeting. I also want them to know that when I show up, I mean business. I want to get to work for them and help them accomplish whatever they're setting out towards.
So I also saw, like, I hear that you are the professional, like you represent the professional, but I also noticed that you wear lots of dresses and skirts.
I do.
So is this like, do you want to show your femininity? Do you want to show that? Yes. Okay. So what, tell me a little bit more about it. So what kind of femininity?
Sure. Well, I feel like as a woman, number one, I feel like I can reach you emotionally better if I'm expressing my feminine energy more than my masculine energy, because most of the work that I do is connecting with women in a way that they're not threatened, in a way that they can feel at peace and that they can really be transparent and vulnerable. But at the same time, I really enjoy, dressing like a woman. I enjoy putting clothes on that make me feel pretty. Powerful, yes, but pretty, yes.
Awesome. All right.
So you guys are getting like a special look at but what some of her what her interview process looks like, because as she walks me through this, you can see how she would walk you through it as well.
Yes, I want to ask more questions about your lifestyle. So you have this professional side, but you are also a wife and a mom. So how about those styles? So
Yeah.
how do you see yourself as a wife and as a mom?
Well, okay, how do I see myself in regards to how
How would you like to
I
describe
don't
yourself?
crawl on the floor, I'll tell you that. So I'm not like down on the floor playing with the kiddos. My youngest is 16 years old. I do homeschool her, so there is still an element there of professionalism, even though we're in the house, right? And we've got to
Mm-hmm.
maintain that to a certain degree. And a lot of our life is on the go. So maybe we're dealing with something, husband and wife, we're going out and having dinner after a long day together while we're doing school. So I feel like my clothing has to be able to also fit in with all of those areas without having to change clothes. One of the things that I really don't like doing is getting dressed 3 times a day. I hate wasting time. And so if I feel like I'm having to stop, change, bring a bag of clothes, I don't want to do that. I just want to get dressed one time.
So multifunctional
Yes.
clothes, but on the heels. That's
Good
interesting.
heels. Yes, I know. I guess no flip flops for me.
Okay, so the
Haven't quite
next,
figured out how to deal with the gym and heels, and I don't think I want to.
I actually have a solution for that.
Mm.
Yes, we'll get to it in a second. So how would you describe yourself? Again, I have several words. So it's a business, luxury, romantic, sexy, friendly, creative, strong, or anything other.
Yes. No, just kidding. Yes, all. No, probably more business. I kind of keep that business hat on. Obviously, I would love to
Mhm.
have that sexy feel. And maybe that's why I maintain a lot of dresses and that femininity side of it, is so that even though my husband and I do business together a lot, that there's still that element where I can also be the feminine piece and, you know,
All
yeah, a little
right.
romantic in the middle of everything else.
And what's the most important for you in style? Do you want the style to be trendy? Do you want to?
Probably traditional.
Okay. Do you want it to be unique and like your business card and everybody remembers you by your style? Is this a thing?
Maybe not so much by style, but as put together. Because I feel like that's another thing I would probably have to keep up with, is that styles change so much. And I don't necessarily want to be seen as somebody that just constantly goes with the flow, but also somebody that is very consistent and it's reliable. And styles can, shift.
How about tax and climate? Do you want? Do you for the summer? Do you want something more cooler, like cold, not to feel hot all the time?
Ah,
So cool or hot? Are you a cool person
layers.
or you're a hot
Yeah, I
person?
like to be cool. So
So you're
probably
not
layers.
too many layers, not too many
Yeah.
layers. So
Yeah.
you
But
don't.
you know what? I actually don't do a whole lot outdoors. So
So
mostly I'm.
indoors,
Mhm.
AC can be actually making it really cool too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mix and match on
Sure.
those. So we already discovered your colors.
Yeah.
Just
My
those.
room represents my colors pretty well, yes.
Yes, they do.
Yours does too.
And yes, so now I have, yes, all these answers, and we can go to the slides.
Sweet.
Right.
Okay. Here's where the magic happens. Yeah. But that is part of self-discovery, is asking those questions. And I bet most people don't even take the time to think about that. And I think that was one of the problems I dealt with for a long time, is I'll just see a really cute outfit on somebody or on a model or on, an ad that is constantly popping up on our social media accounts. And you hit add to cart, add to cart. And before you know it, you've got all these clothes that don't fit your style because you don't even know what your style is, right? Yeah.
That's right. And once you know your style, you will see in any store, you will see which what works for you, what doesn't, because when you know the list, and I'll show you this list right now.
Okay, we're going there. Yes.
So what we did right now, we went through this main question. So now I get all the answers over here. And the next step, one of the important steps, we need to figure out the body type, and we need to know the lengths. What we need it for to make the body type balanced. And one of the important things over here is the length of our sleeves, tops, skirts. So the thing is, jackets, the thing is that those shouldn't end at the widest part of our body unless we want to widen it more. So sometimes there are requests when ladies want to make maybe their breast look wider and bigger. Then we can end our sleeves over here. If we don't want our hips to look bigger, we don't want to end the jacket on the widest part. This is important. So we go through these lengths. So we keep those in mind.
Perfect. Now, I just want to see on here, as you have that represented, the red lines are like no zone lines for all of them?
No, they're yes zone lines. So for the sleeves, it should, you see it goes in the middle of the chest. So if the sleeve is there, it will widen up a little bit over here. These are tops and jackets. They can be even shorter. So I have an example of the shorter one, because when you have the crop top, it's for your body type, so it shouldn't work for everybody, but for you specifically, the crop jackets can work. Because it will end at the narrowest spot at your waistline, and in the comparison with a wider jacket, the waistline will look even smaller. It will just emphasize femininity and more curves.
Perfect.
And now the next is the color scheme. So I have your picture from your Instagram over here.
Okay, I like the picture. Change the world. Let's go do this.
I like the text. Yes, I love it. So you have natural, cool, and pure color scheme. So the colder tones work better on you, and you have a bright appearance on already, so you can even handle the black color, which not every single color type can handle. And obviously the colder tones work better for you. So here on the example, I have two different greens on the picture. One is more tealish green. I don't know if you see my mouse. No, probably no.
Are you over here?
So the first, I would say the first picture where it's called bright neon colors, and there is an arrow pointing to the teal color. And the next is a fresh green, and the arrow again pointing to the other green. So the teal and bright color will work better on you, will just emphasize your color scheme. So the colder green works better than warmer green for you. Then the next picture where we have this black and grays and whites, and it says black and white, and the arrow is pointing to the gray. So instead of the just plain gray for your bright personality and for your bright color scheme, I would recommend silver color instead. And it can be even in clothes or in accessories, or it can be silver shoes. It can be something more interesting than just gray color.
I love it. I do happen to wear a lot more silver jewelry than, golds and things like that.
And it's actually in contemporary, in our time, we can mix and match even different colors of the metals. It's okay to mix silver and gold in one look.
Yeah. That's fun.
And
That's not always been the case.
yeah, we're living in a great time when all the styles coexist at the same time, and we can use all of them. And this is so now I'm revealing the secret. The main secret of the stylist is that when you see some pretty girl on the Pinterest and you think, oh my God, this is so cool, this looks amazing, it's usually a mix of style. So
Mhm.
this is the main secret. We don't use pure styles by themselves. We mix different styles. And as you have different personality, as we discussed earlier, so these are your, I would say, three main, like these two are, the bottom two are similar. The three main personalities, which we figured during the archetype quiz. So you are obviously the business person. It's on the first place. The
Sure.
strong and independent woman. The business side will be the main. So it will be like a basic kind of style. Then the second one would be the feminine style. There are two different feminine styles. It's ladylike, it's more elegant,
Mhm.
and it's romantic. It's more flirty, maybe more naive a little bit. It's not, it's not obviously not your case, but in some elements it can be have some floral patterns. Um, so for maybe for some date nights with
Sure.
your husband,
Yeah.
so this can be a thing. And a little bit, one more archetype showed up, and I would recommend to add you the style, which is called old money. This is
Mm.
this style. It sounds already intricate. So the style is about making the vibe like you came from the rich family and you have already seen so much, so you don't really care a lot about style, and it's really neutral
Mm.
but high end at the same time. So it's a higher quality of the fabrics. You don't need any brands or anything. It's pretty minimalistic,
Sure.
but it creates the vibe of just a high end old money. That's, I think the name describes itself.
Yeah. Wow.
And we will go through all these styles and see how they look like. So that ladylike, it's
Mm.
obviously, I think it's one of your main ones because it's all about dresses and skirts.
Mhm.
And for you specifically, for your body type, the great thing to do will be to emphasize the waistline all the time. Even if it's like, imagine if you put the bright dress and then the jacket on top, I would put a belt on top of that jacket, always to show your narrowest part and show femininity. If
Sure.
it's skirt and top, not like in this example, the way it says ladylike, I would make a little bit more contrast between top and the bottom.
And
It will,
color?
in color, yeah, it can be white top or it can be pink top and
Mhm.
whatever bottom. We'll see examples soon too. And it will, this division will just emphasize the waistline all
Mm.
the time. And then the next style of yours. So what I recommend to take different elements from every single style, not use it in pure form. You can use it in pure too, but it would be more interesting to combine those. So ladylike can be combined with the business.
Mhm.
And business is obviously about jackets. It can be
Mm.
even pants. Sometimes pants on ladies look really sexy,
Sure.
as you see on these pictures.
Right. Right.
So we can the example in the middle, I like this lady in the flowy skirt, silky skirt, and the jacket and on the heels.
Right.
So this would be kind of combination of styles. Romantic, maybe a little bit in elements, it can be a theme. So the top, kind of like top you have right now, it's a dramatic color, but it's a romantic look. So it's already mix of styles in one piece.
Right.
So here you can see the the floral patterns, the bows, these fluffy shoulders and sleeves. So this can be a theme too. And again, to make you need to make more accent on your portrait zone. So all the decor,
So
all
what's
the
portrait zone?
pattern, it's this is what we see right now. So
Ah,
this is
okay.
yeah, this is exactly this portrait,
Okay.
because we need to emphasize, first it's because of the body type, second is because of your way of life. So what you do, you speak a lot, you want people to look at your face, look at your portrait zone.
Right.
The other nice thing for your type is to have little details. It's exactly with how you dressed up today. It's exactly the good example. So you need the smaller details around your face, not just something plain.
Mm.
It might look a little bit too boring. You need more accents, patterns,
Mm.
elements, like you have now showing skin a little bit, maybe some decor, maybe some folds over here just to make more accent.
Okay. That's fun.
And old money
Yeah.
style.
I
It's
actually
pretty
like that one. It's pretty.
it's neutral.
Mhm.
So with your bright colors, you probably need more mm, uh, brighter colors, but they can be in elements as well. So it can be some brighter shoes or maybe a bright purse. So some small element, or maybe a bright top and a jacket on top. So
Mhm.
maybe some bright, but you can try the pure style too. Again, I like the example with the stripes. This
Mm.
lady, so it's simple but not simple at the same time. Like you
Right.
see, it's and this is a jacket I mentioned. It's like a Chanel kind of jacket.
Mhm. Mhm.
The so it's shorter than the normal length, and this is actually a good length for you to just to balance the body type.
Right.
So this just recommend you to try this one. And so recommendations. So as I said, always accent on the waistline. It
Mhm.
can be if it's a skirt, it should be high waisted. It should be like the more you rise your waistline, the taller you look and the longer your legs look. So
Mm.
the higher, the better. Of course, it shouldn't be like too high. It's just normal height, but not lower one.
Sure.
The division, colorful division into top and the bottom works great. Like if it's a darker top, it should be like maybe something lighter at the bottom. If
Sweater.
it's a pattern, yes, if pattern here, it should be plain skirt, for example. So mixing and matching. Actually, mixing and matching different textures works great too. So besides the pattern, as we see on the previous slide, it was stripy top and plain pants. It's also nice to mix and match different textures. As I
Mhm.
said, the silver will work better than gray for you. It can be even this tweed top and silver jeans. So the interesting combination of the colors, even if they are neutral, will make the look more stylish.
Right.
So the accent, yes, accent on the tops and the portrait zone. So this is what I said. Chunky shoes. This is about the sports on the heels. So instead of heels, obviously, it's better to have the platform. So the
Mm.
sneakers with the platform will work.
Okay.
Fitted shoulders means that the seam is exactly. So
Wow.
I have as an example, yeah, where the shoulder is low. So this is
Mm.
not your case. You need the seam to be on the right spot where it's supposed to
Right.
be. And thicker fabrics on the skirts and pants will also so flowy at the top and thicker at the bottom will work. Heels or platforms, yes, it can be sneakers or with a thicker platform. Silhouettes, fitted silhouettes, meaning they are drawing the waistline. Like this jacket you see at the top, it's drawing this
Sure.
waistline, feminine. So this is what we need. Always emphasize the waistline. And A-shaped skirts at the bottom example, we have those, and the dresses.
Mhm. Which mainly I do stick with A shape. Now, every once in a while, I'll have more of a fitted pencil type, but that's very rare. Um, just I feel like the A shape seems to flow better for me. Yeah.
And I have one more slide. It's just an example
Mm.
how it works. So like a strict kind of pencil skirt, but
Mhm.
super flowy and romantic top.
Mhm.
The dress and the crop jacket.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
cute.
here we also have it, and the last one is it's the same color. Even though I recommend to mix the colors, it can be different textures. One is thicker, one is thinner, and it will
Mhm.
give this interest. So these are some ideas.
Yeah, and definitely I love the wide leg pants. I've recently found those and I thought, oh, that's perfect for my body type. I think that's one thing too is, if you don't know what kind of pants to wear, maybe you're accenting your hips in the wrong way, which I happen to do for a very long time. So it's good to have found those wide leg options. And, with real short legs, it's good to have anything that makes them look longer.
That's right. And one more thing is when you have the shoes in the same color as your pants or your legs, if you're in a skirt, so this also elongate your legs. So in these purple legs, I would add purple shoes,
Okay.
even longer. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense because it just continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay. So I know that people that are going to watch this are going to have some questions about like what this process looks like. And of course they got to see the process of the interview type because that's so important, right? I mean, how we necessarily show up at the beginning doesn't mean that's how we want to show up. So that asking questions and kind of that coaching through it is probably a very important piece of this, right?
That's right.
So you've got the archetypes, what we're naturally drawn to, what like shapes we like to see. And I'm assuming a lot of those were things that I picked out because they all look like something I would want to wear. And then there's the interview process, and then there is pulling it together. So if somebody said, okay, how do I start this and what does that look like? I know the event that's coming up is going to go into some details on it, but what would you say to somebody who's like, yeah, I really want to know what my style is. Why should I go through the work? What would you say to that?
Because we need to represent you properly. We need to, so the first thing we need to do is you need to understand who you are and to make sure that you represent yourself properly. So on this event, which are coming next week, we're going to have this process where every person on this class will figure out his or her own archetypes and how to show them, reveal them in real life, how to use the styles to match those archetypes. And we're going, so the event is called Find Your Style, and we're going to find the personal style to every single person on the event. I think this is so cool. And when you know your style, you can easily buy anything in any store. Even when the commercial pop up on your phone or you go to any store, you will see this is my 3 styles or this is my 2 styles. I stick with those only and I pick those only. If something else shows up, I already know it doesn't match my style goals. It doesn't represent my personality. I just like how it looks on somebody else, and that's it. And you wouldn't just spend money on some items which just clutter your closet and don't work.
But we do all the time, right?
Yes, and there are tons of people who still have tags on their clothes in their closet, and so they buy and don't wear. So why to waste those money if you can just use them in the right way and represent yourself amazingly?
Yeah, I love that. A couple thoughts that came up as you said that. Number one, we do have to know who we are because how can we make the impact in the world that we're supposed to make uniquely and collectively if we don't know who we are? And, if our clothes don't represent that, then nobody else knows how to read us and how to work with us in different pieces of their life either. And we are made to work together. So I think taking that time and doing the investment to discover who you are is so, so important. And then let every area of your life go through that. One of the things that I've always believed and heard is that when you know exactly who you are, it's easy to say no to things. It's easy to say, yeah, that's not me. And it's okay. And you have this comfort and this confidence in knowing that that's not me. And what that does, in my opinion, and when I see this with so many women and men, is the comparisons can stop. The things that are sabotaging our thought processes and our minds can slow down because we are so crystal clear on who we are and then it's represented in every way. And that's what you're allowing this to do with Style Recipes. You're giving people power to say, this is who I am. I'm going to represent it from the outside extension as well as the inside extension of who I am. So I love that. I'm so glad that you found this, and I'm so glad that you utilized the years and years and years of experience of interior design to really help people on this new element in this new way.
Yeah, this is how I feel it. I feel like I am like a mirror. I'm showing people who they truly are with the clothes
Yeah.
and interiors as their portraits in
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. And investment wise, I'm sure people are thinking, well, how much is this going to cost? And I guess the question is, and I used to use this when I was in Mary Kay, and still I use it as I show up. And one of the things that Mary Kay did teach me is how important our image is. Because as I shared that story earlier about, showing up to this Zoom meeting with this woman in my sweat clothes, like just finishing a workout, she couldn't take me serious. Even if I brought all the rest of my energy, she couldn't take me serious because she couldn't get back what she saw on the surface. And that is just a huge life lesson. I'm grateful and sad that I had to experience that to figure it out, but I am grateful for that. But I think when people are thinking about an investment associated with this, we think about, okay, how much do all those clothes cost us that we're never going to wear? Or that we wear, but we only show up 10%. Like if I only showed up 10% to that meeting because I wasn't being authentic to who I am, how much essentially did I leave on the table because I didn't show up 100%? And I don't think we always think about that as people. I don't think we always think about the opportunity cost of not taking ourselves serious. I would be interested. So I am sold. I am sold on what you're doing and how you're helping people. And I wish I didn't have school on that day because I would absolutely be there, but I will be there in spirit cheering everybody on. But I do know this, that Kat and I will be working together on many events, I'm sure, because she has a heart just like me to help a lot of people. And part of that, again, the pillar number one in my 7 pillars of an unbreakable life is self-discovery. Because once you know who you are, you can start walking towards your path to purpose. And then we want it represented in all areas. So anything else that you want to add? I'm going to go ahead and pop your website on here real quick so people can see that. But what else would you like to share before we finish up for the day?
Yeah, so I just want to invite everybody to the event, which is going to be on May 10th at 10 a.m.
Yes.
in Round Rock, in this hotel at the conference room. So we are going to figure out every single person's personal style. Yeah. We're going to discover everything about everybody's personality, learn how to mix and match, and it's going to be amazing. Everybody will be so beautiful after this meeting. So yes, everybody's welcome to join our class, and yes, we'll share the link where you can book your spot.
Yay. Now, one other thing, I know we've talked a lot about ladies because that's my heart and that's who I'm drawn to, but I know you help men with this as well. And, as men have to show up, just as we ladies do, men need to show up a specific way to be taken seriously that matches their style as well. I know they're not necessarily invited to this event, or are they? Did that change?
They can join the event too. There will be several styles which are women specifically, like ladylike and romantic style, which we discussed today. Right. But all the rest styles, they are unisex. They will work for both men and women. Perfect. So men are welcome too.
Perfect. And if somebody's not available on May 10th for this event, they can do an individual consultation with you, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, they can start the process by doing the personal styles quiz for the archetypes and then schedule an individual consultation with you?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. 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 Well, I'm so excited. I'm glad that we get to support one another in this and that you're going to have this amazing opportunity to help women just show up a little bit more authentic to who they are. And I know that authenticity is one of those things that helps us shine our light a little bit brighter. So yay. Thanks for being on with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. And we will put Kat's information on the event details and all that in the notes so y'all can stay connected with us. Okay. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.